So today we're going to discuss some ways to create a stress-free home environment to help you win the new year, and we're going to get started. Hello and welcome back to All Things Tennessee with me, Ben Barreto, your local real estate pro and relocation expert for East Tennessee. Today we're going to discuss something a little different. Usually on this channel I talk about life in East Tennessee as well as real estate buying and selling tips, but I wanted to approach the first video of the year a little differently. If you haven't noticed, it's been a month roughly since my last video. And the reason for that is my life got a little crazy and stressful, and I had a hard time separating from that even when I was at home. So I had to take some time out and recognize my life both at work and at home so I could get back on track and support my family the way I was meant to. And that's with zeal, with determination, and with a smile on my face. So I wanted to pass on some of the things I learned to you and hopefully help you find your way as you tackle life in the new year. Before we start getting into the ways that you can create a stress-free home, let's discuss why it's important to have a safe place at your house. So here's the thing, stress can disrupt your life. It can take away a lot of healthy coping strategies, and it is essential to deal with stress for both physical and mental health. Having a stress-free home environment and routines is a great way to promote everyday stress-free living. Now, having a place where you can totally relax, be yourself, and simply be quiet can be a tremendous help in fighting chronic stress. And regardless of how old you are and where you're living, everyone needs a quiet place. And when I say a quiet place, I mean a place that is free from noise, chores, distractions, deadlines. So now that you know why it's important, let's discuss the things that you can do to create a stress-free environment in your home. And by following these tips, you will have a better chance of creating that stress-free environment in your home and in your life. How many times can I say stress-free in this video? You can make it a drinking game. So the first thing you want to do is remove anything uninspiring in your home. And we all have things in our house that was important to us at one time and no longer is really relevant to our lives now. Yet for some reason we hold on to those things as if by getting rid of them would be betraying our past selves. Stop thinking that way. You are who you are now, then, and always, and by tossing out a trinket or object doesn't change you in any way. Just because it made you happy in the past doesn't mean you have to keep it forever either. Remove items in the home that no longer inspire you or stir those emotions that motivate you or put you in a positive place. It leaves room for something new, and it also removes something that might have been an anchor holding you back from creating something new and incredible in your life. The next thing you can do is donate clothes you don't wear. Now, I did this just last week. I love t-shirts and socks, and I realized one day when I couldn't fit any more shirts in my drawer without it possibly busting all the nails and staples holding it together that I had way too many t-shirts. But many of them were important to me because they were either gifts from people I love or something I received at an event that was key in my life or something I picked up. For example, I have a bunch of t-shirts from the U.S. Marine Corps Mud Run. Every year when I did it, I get a t-shirt and I would hold on to it. But guess what? More than half those shirts, they just sit folded up in the bottom of the drawer, and the shirts I do wear just get dropped on top of them every week after they're washed. They were taking up room and serving no other purpose. So we all have those type of items in our drawers, in our closets, so go through them and toss out, donate, or sell the things you no longer wear. I recommend donating them, let another person get warmth that you passed into the item and onto them. Now the next thing is the idea of convenience, and the idea of convenience only leads to clutter. See, a cluttered home is probably the #1 reason for stress. It's hard to relax when you have items laying around that look out of place, and many times we put those things away. But there are also things we look past even though they are more than likely impacting our unconscious mind and creating stress. So what am I talking about? Sometimes we leave things lying around for convenience. For example, toothpaste on the counter or toothbrush next to it. That we use it every day, most of us 2-3 times a day. Or the makeup that you put up on in the morning, it just sits out on the kitchen sink or at your makeup counter. Or our favorite cooking utensils or gaming controllers. We leave little things out because we tell ourselves it's easier to do that than to put it away and lose those few precious seconds of our life to have to pull it back out again just to put them back again. Yes, it's somewhat inconvenient, and yes, you save a few seconds of time, but the rest of the day, when you pass by those items, they create a visual distraction that compounds throughout the days and times, and it makes it easier for you to reach that breaking point where stress can take over. It's an easy trade-off when you think of it that way. So a few seconds of your life to put something away versus a mental breakdown. I know what I choose. Next up is to free up closet space. Now, you can do this goes back to clothes, but there's more than just clothes, I'm sure, in your closet. If you happen to look at your closet and it stirs feelings that you don't have enough room for your things or you need more space, maybe instead you should consider that you have too many things. Now, it could very well be true that you need more room, and if that's the case, I encourage you to consider buying a new home with bigger closets, and I can most definitely help you out with that. But regardless of where you are in the country, just give me a call. I can connect you with someone if that's the route you have to go. But more than likely, there's a good chance you just have too many items in the closet. Many of them you don't need anymore. So consider this, and consider whether or not you have things in the closet that hasn't seen the light of day in more than a few months, years. Even if you have clothes or items that simply collect dust, then it's time to just get rid of it. The next thing you can do is clear your dining room table. Now, we all do this, at least most of us do, I'm sure. You probably do, there's a good chance you do. You come home, you got arms full with mail, maybe dinner to go, groceries, purse, keys, kid stuff, maybe kids in your arms, babies, dogs, and you just dump everything on the dining room table. Then most of those things stay there. And over time, these things accumulate. Until you don't have a dining room table anymore, you have a large storage shelf in the middle of your dining area. So clear the dining room table so that it's ready for family dinners or just admiring at any time during the day. The next thing you can do is declutter your duplicate items. Over time, we collect, buy, and renew items in our home and never toss out the old one. For example, how many of us have 3 to 4 sets of pillowcases and bed sheets for the same bed, but we might only rotate between 2 sets? Or we have 7 pair of jeans or 20 kitchen towels, only using a few of them. If you are on a goal of simplifying your life, or you want to create a more stress-free environment in your home, then this is a good start to minimizing your life a bit. And it's a really easy task to do. So go through the house and look at things you own. Start with something easy like kitchen towels again, for example, and consider which ones you use regularly and which ones are no good or just don't get used, and get rid of them. You'll find that you have a sense of achievement, you'll feel lighter mentally, and you'll have more room in your cabinets and on your shelves that will ultimately help those things last longer with less wear and tear. The next thing you can do is create a calm space for reading and meditating. Even if you don't meditate, you still need a quiet space. So if you don't have the room or you can't easily declutter an entire room for this, then consider decluttering a smaller space, like a corner of a room, maybe for reading or just meditating or just thinking. Something that I'm going to do this year is designate 2 days out of the month that I'm going to call my thinking days. On these days, I'm just going to not watch TV, play video games, overall try to avoid technology, and just think about my life on those days. Try to disconnect from technology and just kind of live within myself for that day. And part of what I'll do on those days is to just sit and think quietly and really focus on things that I want to do to improve my life. And to help me do this successfully and to get the most out of it, I'll need to remove distractions. So the space should be clear of things on tables that aren't needed. Things need to be off the floor. Furniture that isn't necessary should be out of sight. And it should just be a relaxing, pleasant space to sit. Then you can just sit and think and not be bothered. Before getting into the last few things that you can do to create a stress-free home, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Additionally, if you're thinking of buying or selling a home in East Tennessee, I'd love an opportunity to talk to you. You can reach me easily by the contact information that's probably scrolling right here on the screen or that's down in the description. You can reach me pretty easily just about all the time. I'd love to talk to you about your real estate goals and see how I could help you out. Now we're going to move somewhat out of the house and into the garage. The purpose of a garage isn't for storing anything really but your car. Now, you don't have to use it for your car, but you should still consider giving your garage the same treatment as the rest of your house. Get rid of duplicates, get rid of unused items that never get used, and things you've collected over time that no longer make you happy. The garage is a part of your home, and many of us forget that, treating it more like an extension of the house, more like a storage shed is treated, but not really a main part of the house, even though we probably go through it way more often than we do any other type of storage shed on the property. If you see your garage more than a few times a month, then it can still impact your mental state and your stress-free goals. So give it a little attention too and clean it out. The next thing you can do is get rid of that junk drawer. Now, this one is harder because junk drawers are super useful, but the fact of the matter is the drawer is just called a junk drawer for a reason. Everything in there are things we don't really need, but we think we might need one day, but for some reason we never actually use it. So go through the junk drawer and decide if it is actually useful, and if it is, then there should be a place for it somewhere else in the house. If it's not useful, it should just go in the trash. The next thing you could do is count the clutter cost. If nothing I said about anything so far motivates you to create a stress-free environment in your home, then maybe this will. Consider the cost of having all that clutter in your home. Keeping things you don't use, love, or things that motivate you cost you money too. Not just the mental benefits of getting rid of them, or the mental costs like the stress, anxiety, and the resentment you build up over time. Holding on to these things you don't need can add cost to your life and your wallet as well. Having a drawer bursting to the rim with unused clothes creates extra wear and tear. Having to replace those dressers more often. Having too many clothes on a shelf or in a closet creates stress on those shelves and those hangers, adding stress to the walls. Not being able to see your home clearly because of all the clutter could easily cause you to overlook necessary repairs and maintenance. There is a cost to having a cluttered home, full of things that you no longer use. There's a mental cost and a real cost. So at the end of the day, for your health and for your wallet, you should make it a goal this year to declutter your home and create a stress-free environment for your home and for those you love. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you found it useful. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you implement some of these tips. As always, if you need anything, you know how to reach me. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.